What's going on, guys? We are going to get a sculpt done today. We are doing a commission. I need to start by grabbing a sphere at a very specific size. So I'm just going to go into Tinkercad and I am going to make this 4 inches in diameter. What's going on, everybody? So let's set this to 4 this way. Let's go 4 this way. And 4 this way. Alright, so we're good. That's a 4-inch diameter sphere. We're just going to name that 4-inch sphere. Not 4 foot, 4 inch. Beautiful. Let's export this as an STL file. We need to bring this over into Nomad Sculpt and add it to our scene. Alright, I need my pencil. What's going on, everybody? How you doing? We'll go ahead and get started. Let's save the project. Let's go and delete this sphere. So what we're doing is this is going to be like a trophy type of thing for somebody. They want this commissioned, so it's just a sphere with some tentacles. They're going to be holding a lightning bolt and a key. We should be able to get this knocked out pretty quick enough anyways. Let's go ahead and start with the trim tool with the rectangle function. We need to trim off the bottom of the sphere because they plan on 3D printing this. And we need a flat surface to 3D print. I think roughly that should be sufficient. Let me turn off the smooth shading right here. Welcome in, guys. Alright, so we got that done. Let's subdivide. Let's take a look at this. Let's subdivide, add some geometry in here. This looks very bad. So let's subdivide. That looks better. Let's voxel remesh this. Let's go ahead and do that at 300 is fine. 350. We want this to be super smooth. So we're going to take our smooth tool with a very large brush. And we're just going to smooth this out a little. That'll be good. Alright, now we need some tentacles. So to do this, we're actually going to do a really cool trick. Let's take the tube tool with the path option and lay this out. I use tubes for a lot of stuff. We're going to change the radius up. We don't want this to be perfectly cylindrical, so we're going to turn on a profile. You can see it's a square, but if we look at our profile setting, we can actually modify that square to be anything we want. And I actually have a preset that I'm going to use. It's this, and it has a flattened bottom. And yeah, I think I'm going to do it like that. Let me look at a tentacle real quick. Welcome in, everybody. So yeah, I want a rounded, I want it to kind of square off, and then I want it kind of rounded in the middle. So this is about right. I might want it a little more rounded, like that. And I might want these edges a little more sharp. I think that's gonna be wonderful. Let's go ahead and do that. All right. So these need to be roughly the size of this sphere. Maybe a little bit shorter. And so we're gonna have 5 of them. So we're gonna make them a little bit smaller in diameter. Now on these spheres, let's move this over. On these spheres, we want to put the suckers on this. Hey, how you doing, Walking Robin? Hiring, hope you are well. Doing good, man. Doing good. And let's see. Let's do the suckers. So I am going to go in here and where is it? There used to be a function in here here it is, curve repeater. So I'm gonna click on curve repeater. I don't know, can I move? I don't know if I can move the tube and it also moves the curve repeater. I think I can do that, but let's go ahead and click add, and we're going to add in a torus shape. Hey man, I get organic shapes on it a bit, but is it possible to do more geometric type like helmets? So yes, it is possible to do that type of a thing, JMR, but it's a little bit difficult to do on Nomad Sculpt because it's not built for it, but you can do that. You're gonna wanna stick to primitive shapes as a base rule. So like if you add in, let's just say a new sphere, let's add that in, let's move this up, and let's scale this way up. So if you want to get some geometric shapes, what you're really going to want to do is stick to your primitives and use the trim tool a lot. So we're going to trim off some of this. We'll trim off the top. So if you want to do a helmet, maybe you would use an ellipse. You get what I mean? So you could do that. These are some geometric shapes. And yeah, you're really just gonna wanna stick to trimming, using Boolean function to cut shapes out of other shapes, and etc. That's pretty much what you're gonna wanna do. As soon as you start like dragging and pulling on this, it's gonna be more organic and it's gonna look less and less like you're saying. But you could always go in with the crease tool with the sub function on it, and that's gonna bring everything to a point. That helps you get those flat, hard edges that you're probably trying to get for your geometric shapes. Hope that helped you. Let's go ahead and delete this. Okay, so on this array, we are going to add in this torus primitive, and let's move this over and up and over. Let's scale this way up so we can see what we're doing. And let's move it down. We're going to move this over, scale it way down. We're going to turn the inner radius. We're going to turn that up so it's thicker. Let's go ahead and scale it up a little bit more. I overdid it. This is good. Okay. We can go into this array and we're going to turn the count up. Now let's see if we take this tube, the original tube, if we move this, okay, the array does not move with it. That's what I needed to know. What happens if I put, there's got to be a way to move. I wonder if in this array I put a cylinder, and let's hide the original tube. Oh, I see. Yeah, that's not gonna work. That's not gonna work how I want. Yeah, this is Nomad Sculpt Big A. Hey, 1994, thank you so much for the rose. I appreciate you. Yeah, so we can't use the sphere on, the cylinder on this. So we gotta get all of these in position first, and we're gonna go about this a different way. So let's go ahead and delete our array. And for this tube, let's go ahead and start making the tentacles. I'm going to turn on radius here until 3 dots are showing. That lets me change the radius at each individual point. And actually, let's do it till 2 show right now. So just lets me change it at the start and at the stop. So we're going to make it skinny up. And let's go ahead and put these into position all over this globe. So we're gonna bring this over here. This will be the front view. Now I would like to get one over here. We can scale this up a little bit more. The overall length of this should not be much longer than the globe, if at all. It should probably be even a little bit shorter. So like right in here, which means I need to scale this down a little more. It shouldn't be longer than this. Alright, so we want to get this over here. We're gonna let which one holds the lightning bolt? Let's let this one hold the lightning bolt over here. So we're gonna stick this out to the side. This will hold the lightning bolt. So right at the end, we're going to make this curl in this way. We're gonna click B-spline so it kind of really curls in. But we need to be careful because we need to make sure this is gonna print okay without supports. So quite a bit, 1994. When designing, you really want to make sure you're thinking about how you're going to print all of this, how it's going to line up, and just make sure that in general you're not going to have a big issue, you're not going to have a lot of damage on your prints when you're printing if you need a support. So for this one specifically, yeah, I started forgetting a little bit. This one specifically, the person commissioning this wants to print it with no supports, so I can't have this curled down like I want to right here. Which I wish I could, but not a big deal. We can probably get away with this because how this will actually print is going to be flat on the build plate like this. So this will print like this, flat on the build plate. This is what we're looking at. So with that in consideration, we could add let's add a flat right here so this doesn't move. Okay, we want to make sure that doesn't move. There we go. Okay, so we can move this around though. We could probably get away with that. And then we're gonna want this to kind of come down. We can get away with that. So we're gonna do that for one. I want this to twist a bit. So if we're looking at the front, we're gonna let this twist this way here. We're gonna twist this way, twist this back this way, and then, yeah, we'll do it like that. That's gonna be good. In fact, let's do this a little less, because this is a little bit too intense. Maybe something a little more like that is fine. Okay, now for the tentacles, I am going to go ahead and let's add in that curve repeater. Under that curve repeater, let's add a torus primitive. We're going to take that torus primitive, bring it up, scale it up, flip it. We're going to drag it all the way onto this object. Watch this. And then we're gonna go into the curve repeater itself, and we're going to change the count on that curve repeater up to a larger number. It should be twisting, but it's not twisting properly. So maybe if I take that curve repeater, how about if I scale the whole thing up? No, it's still not. Also with Nomad, when you voxel two objects, have you ever had it almost twist or invert the file? So does it look completely brown, like everything broke? Like it looks, everything is inside out and it's very brown and just doesn't, nothing is working. And when you put it into your slicer, it's just a complete mess and nothing works right. Is that what you're referring to? Yes, okay. So what that is, look at this file here. Everything looks fine, nothing is brown, everything's okay. Sometimes when you voxel remesh, it'll look like what you're saying. If you go into your materials panel, right here, you can see me selecting it. You're going to have an option right here that says inverse culling. On this inverse culling function, right down here on the bottom, if you click it, that should fix your problem. So it's not turning brown right now, so you can't see it, but it is kind of inside out. You can see how it looks a little bit broken and empty. It looks hollow. That's because inverse culling, for whatever reason, got toggled. I don't know why, but I've had it happen. That's the fix to that. Okay, I am not going to go this route with the array. This is not working out. It's going to take too long. I have a much easier method to do that, and I will show you that in one moment. Let's go in the Gizmo tool, click clone. We're going to move this over. We need 5 of these. So that's one holding a lightning bolt. Let's go ahead and make another. So let's turn twist off. Let's turn, let's change how this moves, just so they're not all the same. That'll be good. Thank you for the help. Hopefully I finish the Snorlax this weekend. That'd be awesome. I would really love to see it when you're done. Have a good night. Thank you for stopping by. Okay, twist. Let's turn twist on one time. We're gonna move this way. Beautiful. And let's flip this. So if I can maybe turn this way instead. And maybe we can make this come back. This will hold another lightning bolt, this one here. Perfect. Let's go ahead and get these two into place. So I'm gonna move this. This will be over here. This will hold a lightning bolt right in here. This one here can hold a lightning bolt. We're gonna move this back and up. Let's put it right there. Alright, this is... No, it's not twisting too much. We're okay. We're gonna move this forward on the sphere. Angle it this way. This should be good. We need to make sure everything is touching into the base. So let's just kind of move that back. That'll be good. That's touching into it, so we're good. Opinion on Blender. Amazing software. It's free, so that's incredible. It's open source. A lot of people work on it. It can do just about everything. So I love Blender. Why do I not like using it? Because I do not actually use Blender. It is very overwhelming to learn. It's a huge learning curve. I often just get discouraged when I try to learn because there's just so much, and it is an everything software. So it's not just sculpting, it is 3D poly modeling, it is animation, it is 2D software, it is rigging, it's everything. So there's so many tools that I just would never use, which yes, you could just ignore, but that adds to all of the confusing aspects of the user interface. I like Nomad Sculpt because it's straightforward. All of the tools in here I use just about, and it's very straightforward. It's very simple on the UI. It's very intuitive. So that's my opinion on Blender. Amazing software, just way more than I need to do. If I already knew how to use it, I probably would use nothing else. Alright, so I am going to clone this. We're gonna bring this over. Let's go ahead and add this up towards the top. We wanna make sure we get these up here. There's one, here's two, and let's clone it, and 3. Alright, so we have 5 total. This is everything that we need. This very first one, this is gonna hold a key. We're gonna make this come off the front like this. We're gonna make this one come off right here. We're gonna bring this up. We're gonna bring it out over this way, and then we're gonna bring it straight up to hold this. We're gonna bring it out over here, and it'll hold the key probably this way. I need to twist this to make sure I put it in a printable position, and it looks like I did. Yeah, it's printable. Okay, so that is one. I can actually maybe leave that, but I'm gonna get rid of a little bit of the curvature. I'm gonna make it possibly a little different. I just don't want it to mimic the other ones too close, because then everything is gonna start to look the same, and we don't want that. Okay, real quick, let's change the directions of these last tentacles, just so there's variability in those as well. And then that one's gonna hold nothing. And then we will go ahead and make the key and the lightning bolts. That should be really informative. We can get that done real quick for you. Alright, so let's start with the key. I want to make this a little different too. Let's turn off twisting on this. Well, we'll do normal twisting. There we go. Alright, so I can probably scale these up to be a little thicker overall, because these are pretty thin. I don't think we need to make them this thin. However, let's go ahead and start with the key. This one also, no, it's in the right direction. So for the key, it's going to be a sphere, a cylinder, or no, a torus, a cylinder, and probably 2 boxes. In fact, let me go into my alpha maps. I believe I have a key shape. Brush, alpha. Do I have a key shape? Okay, I have a keyhole. I thought I had a key shape though. Not in there. I have a lot of those. Don't think it's in there. So let's just check all of our folders real quick. It would be right near the top if I had it. Is it in mechanical? Not in mechanical. Okay. So let me just go search key. So let's open up Google. We're gonna search key. And we're looking at something like this. Just a standard basic key. I think we're just gonna do 2 boxes. So rectangle, rectangle, rectangle. That's what we're gonna do. You can see it here ever so slightly. It's pretty distorted, but it looks like box box with a rectangle here that kind of meets up on it. So, with that said, here's what I'll do. Let's start with a torus primitive. Torus. Let's solo in on this. So we need to make all of this invisible. We need to solo in on this. And let's add in a cylinder. We're going to, not clone, we're going to snap this to 90 degrees and rotate it this way. We need to scale this way down and extend it. Okay. About right there, I think. We can scale this down a little bit more so these line up. I think that's going to be perfect. And that's probably the proper thickness. Let's go ahead and actually turn up the inner radius on this. Let's make this a little thicker. So it's something more like that. I'm going to turn up the division X on this so it's a little more pretty. And now this needs to be thicker. Roughly right there. Much better. That's better. Okay, now we need the box. So I'm going to add a box. Bueno. We're gonna move it over. We need this to be a rectangle. Here. And for the purpose of this, I think we're gonna make it, we need to figure out printing. So when we're printing this, we don't want it to fail. So we can't really leave this off the ground. It kind of needs to be on ground level. I think maybe we'll just do that. So with this, let's go ahead and put that about right there. We're gonna make it a little wider. Let's validate this shape. Let's take the trim tool with a rectangle function, and I am gonna cut out first in the center. Let's go like right there. That was too much. Maybe like that. I don't know how much exactly should be cut here. Let's do it this way. Let me clone this. There we go. Let's scale this in this way. Let's move this out. And let's trim off this so we can get our 2 boxes. Oops. Let's go right in the center of this. We'll go right. Let's just do it the right way. Let's not even do that. Let's just make 2 boxes. And let's clone it. Let's bring this forward into here. Theoretically, this should be a lot smaller, but we can't do that. We need it to be the thickness of the cylinder, just so everything prints okay. In fact, we're gonna have to cut a flat spot onto the key. Just a small one. Let's make this smaller, about right there. And we're gonna bring these, we're gonna make these thinner. I think that's how we're gonna do it. And if all of it is yellow, it should look better, or golden, like a gold key. We're gonna make this a little rough. There we go. And we can bring everything back in. Let's take our key. Let's join these together. We're gonna need to scale it way up. Not that much. And we need to trim this now. So we need to trim a flat spot into the bottom of it. So I'm gonna take that rectangle function, and we're just gonna trim ever so slightly of a flat spot. Maybe right there. Just to let it print. Let's take this, bring it up into the front tentacle. Let's turn off snapping, scale it down. This way. So we want this to kind of be like this. I'd really love to know the symbolism behind this. This is for a commission, this is for a military unit for somebody, but it seems like all of this is very, like, symbolic. I'm gonna ask him. Let's see if we can wrap this around the key a little. Maybe something like that. Hopefully we can print that. Let's take a look. So if I flip this up this way and we rotate it to sit flat, yeah, I think that's printable. I think we can definitely print that without supports. Okay, so there's the key. Let's make the lightning bolt. So for the lightning bolt, I don't like exactly how these are. I want a more traditional lightning bolt. So I'd like it to be like this, right here. Maybe even this one, just ever so slightly skinnier. So I'm gonna get 2 boxes and I'm just gonna trim them like that. That's gonna be the easiest way to do it, I think. So let's get a box. Let's take all this, let's get a box. Let's home in on it. Let's squish it way down. Squish, squish. And if we look, we're gonna need a triangular piece. And then it just gets flipped. So let's squish it a little bit more. So let's just go ahead and validate this piece. Take the trim tool with the line function, and I'm gonna do this in symmetry just to make this simple. Let's just go ahead and make this a triangle. I'm going to clone it, flip it. We need to turn on pivot, or sorry, snap. Let's line this up here. And I think that should be good. I think I'm happy with this. So let's select these. Let's make them yellow. Paint. And let's bring everything back in. I'm gonna select both of these shapes. And we are going to join them together. Scale it. And bring it up. Okay, so this is gonna go in the left over here. This will go right over here. Let's turn off snapping. That got turned on somehow. So this will go right here. And we're going to get another one. Clone it. Bring that over here. I think we'll put it in the back one. Okay, that's a good start. Let's position the tentacles. You know what? I want to make this one because we want this to be different. Why don't we kind of do one of these? And then we're gonna make this kind of, I need to make sure it's printable still, because that's not quite printable. So let's make it go this way. And let's take this and let's move this up here. I like that. Okay, so we're going to take the tube function and we're going to move this onto and over this. And we're going to make this twist at the very end here to kind of hug around this shape. So if we kind of bring this over here, we can twist it back this way. And if we bring this over here, we can kind of like twist it onto the shape. That way it kind of like is gripping onto it that way. We'll go for that. Let's see if this is in a printable position. It seems like it. It seems like it'll print. Okay, we need to, I wonder if we can scale these up. If we can make them ever so slightly thicker. There we go. That's better. Hopefully that's not too thick. That does take up a lot more space though, which is a good thing. We want it to. I just realized. Hey, thanks for the follow, Hector. I appreciate you. So I just realized we want to print this flat, but it's on the shape of a sphere, so we can't actually print it flat because we want it to hug the we want the tentacles to hug the sphere. I need to figure that out. Because we want the tentacles to hug the sphere. We don't want it to, we don't want it to be completely flat. I will need to talk to him about that. And we're going to add some details into the tentacles. We're going to want that to look much better. For sure. But for the most part, we're there. The lightning bolts, we want these to be a little bigger. Because we scaled everything up. That's good. And then this one needs to scale up. We want that to come out here and scale that up. Move it over. Move it into this. Let's move this over. Let's go with that. Nathan, thank you so much for sharing or Nathaniel, I'm sorry, thank you so much for sharing the live stream. I appreciate you. Hope you enjoy it. Appreciate the support. Alright, I think I'm gonna leave this right here for now. I don't want to put time into the tentacles until he tells me what he wants to do about making this spherical to hug the sphere, because he doesn't want to use supports. So I'm gonna get some feedback before I continue on. So I'm gonna cut this here. I'm gonna go get a shower, get to bed. I appreciate you all watching. Appreciate you all being here. I will catch you tomorrow.